Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our discussion, and we're going to be taking a look at the growth of AVOD and FAST services in Europe and what all of that means to advertisers. To help me do that, I'm joined by Beatrice Barrault, who is the Chief Ad Revenues Officer for Monetov Advertising. We also have Philip Rottermund, who is the CEO of We Do TV, and Dan Fay, who's the SVP of streaming in the UK for Paramount. Beatrice, I'd like to start with you, and the simple question of why look at advertising supported services in the first place. That's pretty much been Molotov's model all along, I think.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Very nice to be here with you. First of all, Julian, I want to say that in France, the decline and the aging of linear TV audience, really unprecedented level in 2021, while video content is increasingly consumed principally on CTV, is a profound change of the usage in France. So we were totally aware of that when we launched Molotov, of course. And Molotov, now a Fubo company, has been a success since its launch. And of course, the originality of our model is that we propose all the types of video contents to our consumer, to our users, live, replay, VOD, free, etc., etc. So we were missing only the AVOD part. And it is really, we know that in France, of course, there is, like in other countries, some kind of SVOD fatigue, and also the cost of the subscription is quite high. So we decided to launch in end of 2020 an AVOD channel named Mango inside, and recently Fast channel, in order to complete our offer and to propose as well to users and advertisers a quite nice experience. And that's why we did that like that. It was really a normal continuum of our offer.
And it's interesting, that point you made at the beginning there about the aging viewer in France. I guess it's the same everywhere. I have in the back of my mind, and this might not be exactly right, but in the UK, I think the average age for BBC One viewer is something like 60, which is just illustrating. I'm sure if TF1 and France 2 and all the rest have a similar scenario for you.
It's exactly the same. In France, it's a little bit less. It's around 57, the medium age. But you have to know that 65% of the watchers, TV watchers, the audience is over 50. And we on Molotov and on Mango, it's around 70% under 50. So we correct that by offering to the advertiser a way to have a different reach and to reach younger people.
And is that, I wonder if that is that the content you're showing, or the platform that it's being shown on, or maybe a combination of the two?
For me, it's a combination of the two. Of course, an OTT platform, when you can have on all devices, and when you can have your TV in a pocket or on a CTV, and the content we provide are reaching the audience, the young audience, of course, is the ability of having the programs very easily, and the program itself that are the success of the OTT platform we launched.
Dan, I know that your own Pluto TV is available in France. I know you're responsible, obviously, for the UK principally, but there's the added twist, if you like, is that you've also got Paramount Plus within the same family as well.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a model that the heritage of our company has always been a very big footprint in free TV. In the US, we've got CBS, and here we've got Channel 5, and in some markets, we've got free-to-air, and a big footprint in pay TV as well, with our basic pay brands like Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, but Showtime, CBS app, which is generally bought up by pay channels. So in streaming, we've sort of replicated that very diverse base. We've got a very big free streaming service in Pluto TV. It's the biggest fast service in the US. It's now more than $1 billion revenue business in the US. And we've got Paramount Plus, which is a very big SVOD service, which is going to launch into the UK next month, June 22nd. and then into Germany and Italy later this year as well. So yeah, we do operate very big footprints in both of these streaming areas.
And do you tell a Pluto viewer to watch something on Paramount Plus, use perhaps one of the Pluto channels as a Barker channel, to use an old-fashioned term, to be able to send them across to something they may pay for with their cash as opposed to with their shopping basket?
Yeah, no, we see them as very distinct platforms, and they sort of are in a sense. Well, in that Pluto is, Paramount Plus is the vehicle for the best of our content under the Paramount Plus banner. Pluto is actually much more of a partner platform. It's for third-party content providers. We try and work with as many partners as possible. We're sort of agnostic, and the content that we put on there, makes up a small percentage of the consumption on there and the content on there, which is good. That's what we want it to be. So we operate them quite distinctly. And even in the US, Paramount Plus has its own ad-funded tier, not free tier, but sort of a cheaper ad-funded tier. So there's no direct connection between them, and that's as we want it to be. We want Pluto to sort of be open to any content partners that want to come and participate in that platform.
Okay, Philip, tell me a little bit more about We Do TV.
Obviously, I mean, We Do TV. It says the name. We Do TV. That's what we're doing. We originally started.
I guess.
Yes, we originally started almost 5 years ago under a different brand called Watch4.com, and a year later in the UK under W4Free.com, and just about a month and a half ago we relaunched to this new brand, and it has several reasons. First of all, we had to build every website, every app twice, which was obviously quite some effort. And we wanted to have a new name which kind of represents what we're doing. And we think television is still the synonym for, watching something on a big screen, or watching more like television-like content. And that's one of the reasons why we have TV in the name. And we also think TV is still also kind of a synonym for free entertainment. Other people would say it's SVOD or pay TV if you have to pay for something, but with just TV, people I guess still associate something.
I guess
free,
the consumer is going to use the term. Us lot can go around using SVOD and FAST and AVOD.
Exactly.
The consumer is either going to call it, so they're either going to say they watched it on TV, or they're going to say I watched it on We Do TV, or on Pluto, or on Monetov, etc.
Absolutely. That was kind of the reason why we did the branding changes, these two topics. And I mean, ever since we started, we never really had a pay strategy, because we think there are other great players out there, such as Paramount, which is just fairly new in the subscription field. But then, of course, Netflix, Amazon, HBO, etc. And then, of course, the old school subscription providers, the old school pay TV operations like Sky and Deutsche Telekom in our markets, etc. They have been there forever as classic pay TV, but they come up with streaming subscription services as well. So we always had the feeling, we will find our niche. And I'm not saying it's a niche. I mean, free TV is a massively big space, and that's exactly where we want to be, and that's where we see ourselves, and where we think there's enough room for not only the players here on the panel, but certainly for a couple of more. If you look at the free TV landscape and see how many TV stations in an EPG, and they're all making fairly good money. So I think there's enough room.
Yeah, there's certainly many providers around, and of course, all of them trying to catch the advertising. Beatrice, do you think it's important that to have those slightly smaller ad breaks within the fast channel to try and get around the resistance that some people do have towards advertising?
Yeah, we are of course aware of the ad fatigue, and specifically in France. I don't know exactly what are the laws in your country, in your specific countries, Dan and Philip. But here in France, you can have. Perhaps it's not too much for you, but you can have around 12 minutes per hour of advertising. So there is a fatigue of the users, and on the replay part, when you have the free on air broadcasting television, you can have a lot of pre-rolls before. So we decided at Monetov to limitate really the ad breaks and to have a small ad breaks in order to preserve at the same time the user experience, and also to let the brand emerge to let the brand emerge around other brands. So we think here that fast or VOD channel, we have to limitate a little bit the advertising. That's what I did when I arrived. I decided really to make small ad breaks and to let quality predominant.
Dan, I'm wondering, obviously you'll be familiar with your own Channel 5 as to how sort of advertising varies in an hour, say, on the typical hour on Channel 5 in prime time compared to what one might find if you sit down for an hour or so of Pluto TV at the same moment.
Yeah, it's so Pluto, just for the audience, just a reminder, it's principally a linear service. You know, it's proper linear fast service. There is a VOD component to it, but it's small in its volume, and but the linear ad experience of Pluto is very predictable. It's the set amount of ads per hour. There's no pre-roll. If you joined a linear channel just after an ad's completed, you don't see one for another a good period of time. And we've tried to keep it as unobtrusive as possible. We want people to come in and be able to sort of relax in front of the channel they've selected. And even on the VOD service of Pluto, there's no pre-rolls. There are some mid-rolls or ads once you get into the content, but unlike most VOD experiences where you do have some pre-rolls for an ad-funded VOD experience, there's not that on Pluto.
And you get the same amount of ads. If I was to watch, I don't know, which I might very well do if I find the right channel, settle down for 3 hours or so of Pluto, I'm going to see ads evenly spread throughout my viewing time. I'm not going to find them all weighted in the first episode of something, for example.
Yeah, that's right. And no matter which channel you select, it will be the same. We don't sort of have a higher ad load on channel A versus channel B. So yeah, that's right. It'll be consistent for you.
Philip, I guess it's the same principle for you as well. Is it important to continue the linear experience, because they are almost linear channels in the fast world?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, our fast channels, as Beatrice said, and same goes for the UK and Germany. The allowed minutes of ads is between 12 and 15 minutes on the hour. So our strategy, we are actually around 8 minutes. Whether you're in our linear fast channel or on a VOD asset, it doesn't matter. The only difference is really on the VOD. It starts with a pre-roll. But we're talking 2 pre-rolls, 30 seconds each. So it's not. I mean, if you selected a great title and you see like a minute of ads, I think that's even less what Sky is doing on pay. So for this example, it's still quite a low ad load in comparison to standard free TV, so to say.
Yeah, despite having hung around this industry for a few years now, I've never quite understood the concept of buying a premium channel and then seeing ads too. But there again, I guess that's not too much different to when you turn up at the cinema, and much the same happens there. And the pre-roll is way longer when you go to the movies to what it is when you're sitting in front of any TV channel.
I watched Top Gun last week, actually. I had to have to out myself. I watched the new Top Gun, and I think it was half an hour of ads before the actual movie started.
Oh my goodness! I think any channel which tried that, I don't think it'd be.
Everyone would be out, but
yeah.
I paid already my 20 Swiss francs. I bought my popcorn, so there was no chance to leave.
How actually, as I've got you, Philip, I'll start off with you. How do you sort of manage the sale of the inventory across the output?
In our 2 biggest markets, which are UK and Germany, for all our VOD, we have Sky Media as our exclusive ad sales house. So they exclusively doing the representation of our inventory. Then in Switzerland and Austria, as well as on our fast channels, this is not part of the exclusivity, and of course Sky is not representing or doesn't do any ad sales in Switzerland and Austria. We do this with several ad sales houses in these markets, and we're trying obviously to establish programmatic relationships where we're trying to sell directly to the agency or even to the advertiser. I think Germany is still certainly lagging behind a little bit with the whole programmatic world. We see that in the UK it starts growing, but I think you cannot compare it to markets like the US or something where programmatic and even open RTB has become, I would say, more or less the standard. I think just with programmatic you couldn't survive in a market such as Germany or the UK.
Just to pick up on Germany, is there any reason as to why? Is that the kind of typical broadcast issues we tend to find with Germany, or is there something else going on there?
I think, first of all, the two biggest ad sales houses in the market, which is EP and 7-One, they're owned by the major broadcast stations. So obviously they
have their own ventures, of course, in this kind of space.
Yeah, it's kind of protecting their field. Obviously, when things opening up, you might lose market share in that case. But then also, I think it's just the market is just lagging behind a little bit, probably a year or two in comparison to other markets.
Beatrice, how's it handled for Monetov?
No, for our point of view, we have a mixed model. We are both programmatic and both internal sales house. We are linked to the principal SSPs of the market and the DSPs, and we have also a sales house. We sell directly to agencies and we inform the advertisers. Advertisers here in France, they don't use really to sales direct to buy directly. They go through an agency. So the sales house in-house is a sales house with IO, with specific operations, special operations, and the rest is really totally programmatic.
Right.
With the CPM and the bid, the programmatic bid, etc., etc. But it's easy. It was quite easy for us in France. What our offer is both on digital multi-screen teams and on specific digital teams. So digital teams, they used to buy programmatically, so they buy us programmatically. And the multi-screens, they prefer to buy by IO. You see, the multi-screens, they are the teams who are buying TV, linear TV, and they buy us with IOs. And the others, the digital teams, buy programmatically.
Interesting. Dan, I think from memory you're with Sky Media in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK we are. I mean, one of the great things about bringing Pluto into Europe has been we've been able to leverage the partnerships we've got in our market. So in the UK, we've got Sky Media as our direct sales house, but we also, we have a good model because we engage all the programmatic partners as well. And that's the model we take into other markets. In Nordics, it's Viaplay Group doing the ad sales. In Spain, it's Telefonica. So we've got a mixed model in most markets that we're in, where we've got a pre-existing local partner arrangement. So and it works really well for us. It lets us sort of flex up and down, tap into different parts of the market. It's a good model.
And the delivery of the ads themselves, mentioned in the previous panel, that these things tend to be a lot smoother than they used to be. You can't necessarily see the join anymore between adverts and programs. Are you satisfied that you always get a smooth experience as the ad breaks are taken? Particularly a lot of automation going on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for Pluto, we've invested hundreds of millions of dollars in that tech platform, the ad tech platform, and we pride ourselves on the simplicity and ease of use of the experience. And I know if you talk to the Pluto guys way back in the time, they did have problems with buffering of ads and the sort of lag between ad being served and the stream, but they really faced into that many years ago. So the experience we've got now around the ad being served is good. It's the whole Pluto experience is very frictionless on a number of fronts.
Yeah, we have the same, Julian, because we choose an SSIE system, a server-side ad insertion system. So we don't have any latency time between the program and the ad. So it's a nice experience also it's not quite the same thing for example, other free on air broadcasting television. So it's a nice experience, like said Dan. Of course, we are much younger than Pluto. We are learning, etc., etc. But we have the same point of view of the quality that we have to provide to the user.
Does it vary at all between, say, a big screen platform and a mobile platform?
No, we don't have. We have exactly the same experience as we are an app. You can enter with any device you want. You have exactly the same experience if you are on CTV or if you are on a mobile, and it's the same system of server-side ad insertion. So we have no latency on both on the force devices we have, and even on other kind of devices.
Do you think ultimately programmatic advertising will take over here rather than I guess the more traditional way of doing it?
You go, Beatrice.
Yeah, for me, we have a sales house also because we wanted to show to the market, to let exist the brand to the market, the Mango brand, AVOD and FAST to the market. It was necessary to go to really educate the market in France, which is very new for France, AVOD. What was AVOD? What is what represent AVOD? What is the target of AVOD? But I won't tell you that we have the main part of the revenue. Of course, it's the programmatic part that is the main part of the revenue, and it will be so and so on like that because the market is doing is buying like that nowadays in France. But I think for special operation, for specific targetings, for specific clusters the advertiser wants, they have to do it with us because we enter in the machine. Okay. And we know our users.
Yeah, and for us, I think the real value of the direct sales business, be it whether that's our own in the US, because we sell our own across network, or partners with Sky in this market, for example, is they can put to market an integrated sell across a number of, across linear and our other platforms like My5 and Pluto. So there's a dimension there that's good and innovative and incremental. But then on the programmatic side, a lot of the programmatic houses are talking to different advertisers, different agencies and things. So it really gives you a breadth of coverage in terms of where the spend is and where the advertiser relationships are. So we certainly don't see one becoming more dominant than the other or one being more critical to the future. It's this mixed model is a really good one and it seems to work well.
And with the agencies, at least initially, did they understand the concept of what you were offering? It's funny, every time I write about a fast channel, I think, oh, do I really need to say what it stands for again? And it's that same kind of situation when I can imagine people at least to start off with thinking, okay, so it's lots of channels and they've got advertising and it's sometimes the same show, it's sometimes the same genre, and I'm buying advertising like I do in prime time. Was that a sort of a complicated issue to start off with?
Well, for us, no, it was terrific because it looks like it is sort of big screen TV inventory. It looks like TV. It's structured up like TV. There's all the brand quality protections, but it's getting into homes that are no longer really watching linear TV. And that was the point of the agency. Like, we're seeing our linear reach contract over time. We know there's a big segment of homes out there who are watching TV. It's mainly SVOD on their connected TV homes, but we don't know how to get to them. And something like Pluto gets into those homes. And this is a stat from the US. It's not, but it's not far away from where things are in the UK. But for Pluto in the US, 80% of Pluto's users are SVOD consumers as well. So this gets agencies, advertisers, creative campaigns into the SVOD homes that are switching away from traditional linear TV. So for them, they were quite quick to grasp that this was incremental reach on the big screen and TV-like inventory for us.
And I totally agree. And I think that it took time to understand, the media buyers, what's going on there. That it's another playing field, which looks like, as you said, Dan, looks like TV. It's just a little bit different. It's probably a little bit more long tail rather than buying spots and whatever, Jeremy's Next Top Model or shows like that. but also throughout time, it will, we will have to come up. I mean, not only the panelists here, but like everyone who's in FAST, to come up with good targeting options where the advertisers can really figure out where they run. And I'm not just talking about targeting a show name, a title name, or a genre, but it will be much more around what kind of audience can be in front of the device now, because as we know, cookies will fall away, and then on platforms, I think Pluto, you guys do the same thing. You don't have any registration, so you don't have first-party data at this point. So we have to involve as partners and offer something to the advertising industry which is unique, which they probably cannot get on standard linear television.
Oh, Philip, you raised an interesting one there. I do come in, Beatrice. I'm going to ask you first of all, do you use first-party data at all with your platform at Monetov?
Yeah, we use first-party data because everybody is registered in Monetov since the beginning. So we use it, and we of course we have socio-demographics informations, basically, also of course geolocalization information, etc., etc. But we also use, like you surely use, Dan and Philip, the affinity and contextual informations also about them. What I will complete about what Dan was saying, I completely agree, and what you said, Philip, also, it's that of course after the evangelization of the market, which is quite long, to explain what is this new offer and why another offer appearing, they understand very easily that we are reaching different types of people, and younger, like I said before, and then they will increase their reach and differently. So they are very interesting, and what makes me think that it's a good offer and that I like it, it's that we have customers that coming back every month. So it's starting in France, really, but the agencies have and are understanding that we are reaching different types of people, the people that are younger and watch TV but differently.
And I guess one of those different ways is on mobile, and I'm wondering if there's any different strategies that you have, or different rates perhaps for those people watching on mobile devices, or maybe you just bundle it all in together.
No, for now, for us, it's a richness to have people wherever he is, in his mobile, in his desktop, and he's in front of CTV. Sometimes we are asked to only be CTV. When we are asked to just target only on CTV, we increase slightly the CPMs. But we think it's a rich thing to have your TV in the pocket and then to see it on the desktop and to continue on CTV. That's really something very very interesting for us. And we have, what I can say, we have the best of the two worlds. Like said, specifically on CTV, we have digital and television. We can target on television. What is these are the things that the advertisers are seeking for. Target on television to the right people and younger people.
It's like one time I seem to remember every single TV channel that launched was aiming at 16 and 34-year-olds, but these ones are actually, you're by the sounds of things able to deliver within that segment. A reminder, if anybody wants to ask a question, I'm happy to ask that on your behalf if you want to pop it into the chat box. But I did want to look, and we alluded to this earlier a little bit, as to some of the sort of regulatory challenges which are coming down the road, which are going to, I guess, force some of you to maybe go for the more traditional route, because I think Philip, you mentioned, didn't you? I think the cookies, or not being able to use them, etc., etc. What is that going to disrupt the business before it's even got going, or have you sort of already planned for that along the way?
I mean, for us, we have concrete concrete plans for this, or actually working with this kind of technology. We use artificial intelligence to analyze our content, and not just based on the typical things such as genre, but when an advertiser creates a campaign, whether it's P&G or Nestle or anyone and wants to launch a new product or give it extra sales, etc., they give a briefing to the creative agencies, and this briefing consists a certain set of values which the spot or the campaign should cover, and these are not just values they come up with. There's a certain number of values available for the advertising world, and we're trying with AI to analyze all our content based on such relevant values, so we can tell the advertisers in the first 6 minutes of the movie you will get these values, and then in the end it will be probably different ones. My best example always is the movie From Dusk Till Dawn. It starts as a road movie and ends up in a complete splatter horror scenario back in the bar. So certainly you would have in the beginning of the movies, you would have probably mainstream advertisers which would have seen themselves in the end of the movie, of course. And I think that is, I don't know whether it's the right way, but that's a route we are currently following, where we think that could be massively interesting for the advertisers to be able to target on such relevant values, because in the end we kind of matching the spot with the content, right? So that all of a sudden, let's say an ad spot has 10 of those values and we match 5 or 6 or even more of them. So it's most likely that the user will be attracted by that certain spot, and we probably can reach a higher impact. And I think that's something where we can get around first-party data. Nevertheless, we will offer a registration from probably later on this year, which it's not mandatory, but it will offer the user new features such as continue watching across devices and favorite lists, etc. And by that, obviously, we will gather first-party data, but that's not our main focus. We want to be a service where someone just comes in and can watch television, and then he's out and about again, and then he might come back because he liked the program.
Yeah, and I guess with 100 or so channels on Pluto, there's already quite a bit of targeting going on actually within your output.
Yeah, it's a good point. We've got more than 125 channels in the UK, so you can sort of target by, and they're very focused channels. That's the point of how we operate it. So you can target that way, and like Philippe, we probably see registration, if we put it on at all, as a means to unlock further utility for the user. So yes, they want to stop here and pick up on that device, but the demand for our inventory is really on a reach basis at the moment. It's just getting advertiser brand campaigns back into the homes that they're not able to reach anymore. So we're not feeling a lot of pressure to start to become very granular and very profiled in how we're sort of segmenting our base at the moment.
That's interesting. And in terms of the sort of the tariffs that run between, I guess I'll put another way, if somebody is buying a spot within one or more of the Pluto channels, is it comparable with what they might spend on? I'll use Channel 5 as an example, but it could be any other linear channel for that matter.
Yeah, the CPTs for example, My5 and Pluto, and even within the sort of direct.
And My5 is Channel 5's on-demand service, I should say, which Paramount, of course, is the ultimate owner.
Exactly. So if you look at the comparisons across that way, but if you look comparisons between, say, programmatic and the direct sales, it's the rates are comparable, always have been. We weren't, to be honest with you, we weren't expecting that. We thought there might be, at least between the direct sales house and the programmatic partners, there might be a discrepancy, but we've never seen that. The values are sort of consistent across those.
Okay. What sort of perspective are you seeing on that, Beatrice, from Monetov?
Regarding the price in France, there's something perhaps you may not know, is that the price of linear television is lower, really lower than the replay price CPT.
Huh?
And of course, lower than us. The price of television CPT in France is very low.
So what's happened? Has one fallen, or did the other come in at a higher rate?
No, it has always been very low comparing to other countries. It's one of the lower country in terms of CPT. TF1 and M6, the biggest channels, are trying to increase their prices from a long time now. I was working 14 years on TF1, so I know what I speak about. But when they launches their replay part, the catch-up television, they increases the CPT, and it stayed like that. So we are on the level of the CPT of the replay, so much higher than the CPT of the television, linear television, which is quite a difference probably comparing to other countries.
And what about the big accounts? So are you all? I'll start with you, Beatrice. Are the big accounts, the big advertisers, the big agencies, are they coming in the same way that they would on linear television and other platforms?
Yeah, we have the big account, the big sectors. We have the retailers, we have the cars, which are big sectors here. FMCG are starting to come also. They are regular client coming from the point of view of programmatic also. They are here also. It's kind of the same kind of sectors and advertisers than on television. Generally, when they make a television campaign and replay campaign, they put some AVOD or some VOD in their plans. So we are on the plans also. When we first started, they just looked at us like that, trying to know what we are going, what we are making, and now they know that we are reaching younger people. So that's what I say before. They target another type of people, and in France there is something that the people are very fond of. It's a small, medium, and high consumer television, and they want to reach a small consumer of television, and we are the kind of small consumer of linear television, because they consume a lot of VOD, but small linear television in our part.
Interesting. Philip, what's your strategy for looking at the big beasts of the world?
I think, of course, it would be great to sell to most of the people directly and cut out to the middleman. On the other hand, I guess in our territories we are probably the biggest independent player, not belonging to a big media group such as Paramount or RTL or 7one. But I mean, at least with our local players, I think in terms of reach and number of users, we are, quite on their level. But still, that is certainly not big enough to approach one of the big powerhouses directly. So. I think, you will get a programmatic campaign here and there, but just get a commitment, when we're working, as I said, with Sky, where they consolidate a lot of inventory, and they can go to, P&G and the big advertisers and say, listen, guys, we want to have a commitment of a couple of million here and there, then it's easier. But of course, we're open for business. Everyone.
Do you find, because of
the
independent nature of your business, do you feel that you just end up with a different set of advertisers and agencies who you're having the conversations with?
No, I wouldn't say that. Because if I look, at the advertisers which are shown on We Do TV, whether that's in the UK and Germany, this is premium companies which are advertising. It's just through Sky in the end, most of it. But nevertheless, we will see probably different ones, or let's say smaller ones who want to make direct business with us, because also they can save a bit of money here. But I think for the time being, we're happy with the setup as it is, in particular with Sky, and then we will see what time says. When we continue with the growth we are currently having, we might think differently in a year's time, but you never know that before.
Yeah, Dan, I'd imagine you're getting the big advertisers and agencies. And did I just out of interest, do they buy individual channels, or do they buy as a block?
Generally, it's as a block, or it might be a certain demo that you can infer from content preferences.
So a collection, perhaps, of which are targeting a particular demographic.
Yeah, that's right. And yes, and look, so the partnership we have with Sky Media, they're obviously talking to all the big houses and agencies, and then with the programmatic partners we've got, they're terrific at introducing a breadth of partners and agencies that are sort of not coming through that ecosystem. So it's a really good complete model that we operate.
about 5 minutes left together in this particular session. What do we think makes a good fast service? Obviously, our own. You'll probably all say, but what are the what are the key criteria? I'll start with you first of all, Dan.
Yeah. So for us, at a very broad level, before I get to the consumer, at a service level, for us, the way we've designed Pluto is to try and bring all the partners into the success of it. So our content partners, as I was saying at the start, it's not our own content that's driving Pluto. It's really content from many different partners, and we seek to return as much money as we can to them based on what they earn and what on the consumption that goes to them. But also the device partners that we work with, we don't just sort of put Pluto on a device and hope for the best. We really try and work with the device partners to incentivize them into the success of Pluto as well. So there's lots around our sort of model that goes into making it a success. The other thing, though, is we've got lots of channels, and we're very deliberate in how we curate those channels. We want the channels to stay focused. We don't want them to become broad. We're not trying to be like terrestrial TV. Our consumption sort of waterfall, if you like, doesn't look like something's getting 30%, something's getting 15, 10, 10. You know, no one channel has more than 5-6% consumption, and that's as we want it to be. So for us, it's got to be very curated, and the content that we put on there tends to be content that's well known and has had its day in some respects. So you've got to package things up in a very contemporary way, because people are actually after familiarity. They're after things that they know in this fast model. So for us, it's about curating, focus, familiarity, and packaging in a contemporary way that makes it a success for us.
That's an interesting aspect of fast. I guess people who go there, they don't want to fall into the spending half an hour looking through the menus and the rails of the some of the VOD providers.
fatigue.
Beatrice, what's your sort of definition on this?
We are very new. We don't have the experience of Pluto, of course, on fast channels. We just launched them 3 weeks ago. We launched just very modestly for around 7 fast channels. But we were totally aware of what you were speaking about before, is the VOD fatigue. And the fast channel answers perfectly to the demand of the user that are seeking to watch their free favorite content without choosing, without making any effort to choose. But like said Dan, we provide them some nice channel with curated contents around specific themes. And we know that people like to have a specific channel, for instance, for a specific series or for specific types of movie, etc., etc. So we are going to provide more fast channel. We understood also that the offer creates sometimes the demand also. Like providing a lot of possibilities and easy possibilities create probably the demand. And like you said, Dan, also, we are going also to have some combination of other devices, we are going to expose our own fast and AVOD channel outside our platform, as to reach more audience, but also making like that. We are learning by now how fast channel are working, but they're very, very confident on this model that we know perfectly in the US with Fubo.
Can you have too many, I wonder, on a lineup? Dan says he has 100, 130. I think the figure was. If you were to say, well, I'm go up to say 200, would that just be the abundance of choice would be too great?
I think so. Certainly, that's probably you get smaller and smaller returns as you go beyond that. But then there's whole genres that you could sort of bring in. You could build out a certain genre, and that's maybe 3 or 4 channels that are particularly interesting to that group. So you can. It depends which way you want to take your proposition.
Yeah, an interesting area. Right. We have about a minute left. So what's I don't know. Let me think. Very, 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 very quickly. I possibly want 10-second answers. What's the best genre for a fast channel? Philippe, I'll start with you.
Oh, I think we still think movies with big actors, not taking the biggest movies, but they have the names then. Okay. And things around true crime. That's
okay. Movies and true crime. Beatrice?
Yes, of course, movies, but also some series. We had a nice experience with vintage series like Starsky and Hutch, for example.
Oh.
A huge success on the platform.
That's okay.
So
Thank you. Sorry, I'm running out of time now. Dan, very quickly.
True crime. True crime.
True crime. I almost got to. I love the way Beatrice says Starsky and Hutch, by the way. Thank you, everyone. And there'll be more sessions after a quick break.
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.